What is up, Raiders of Teleria and Heroes of Dominion? My name is Charlie. This is New Raiders Only, and in this video, I want to talk a little bit about Hero Wars versus RaidShadowLegends and why I prefer one over the other. You might be a big-time player of Hero Wars, you might be a big-time player of RaidShadowLegends, you might be thinking about trying a different game, and in this video, I want to talk to you about why I believe RaidShadowLegends is actually a little superior to Hero Wars. And that's kind of why we're stuck on the Hero Wars landing page right here. We've got RaidShadowLegends pulled up ready to talk about, but the thing we got to get into first and foremost, these are what you call a gacha style game. It's a pay-to-win game. Both of them are pay-to-win. Okay, there is a limited amount of free resources that you can get access to, and the more you grind, the longer you play, the more that you can earn, but you can speed up everything in both versions of, both games that we're talking about here, by spending a little bit of money. You got bundles all over the place, you got offers popping up, like whenever you go in and then you back out. Generally, every time you change screens someplace, you're going to get an offer, and that's kind of how it is on Hero Wars as well. Now, the first thing that I want to talk about is the single version versus the dual version. And I think this is the biggest problem that Hero Wars as a game has. There is one RaidShadowLegends. You can play it on your computer, Mac, Windows device, iOS, Android, Huawei. You can play it basically anywhere that there's a browser, and you log into the same account. Across the board, it's the same game. And for whatever reason, there is a Facebook and web version of Hero Wars, and there's also a mobile version of Hero Wars. You have Hero Wars Dominion Era and Hero Wars Alliance. There's a lot of similarities. I'm using an emulator here to emulate an Android device. Of course, it seems like it has crashed. That's okay. We'll just go in and reload it. There's a lot of similarities between the Facebook and web version of the game and the mobile version of Hero Wars Alliance. We don't need to talk about any of those. Just the simple matter that there are two versions. There's two separate art teams. There's two separate storyboard developers. You got teams developing for this and that. And yeah, you do have to have a specialty to develop a Facebook applet or arcade game, whatever it's called, versus a mobile or iOS Android game. You do need separate expertises, and RaidShadowLegends has all of those on one team. It's one cohesive unit. There's no confusion. It's all on the same page. There's one art team designing characters for the game versus two art teams, two marketing teams, all of that for the other. And it's just confusing. It's not like it's a big deal, really, in the grand scheme of things. It's just a little confusing, if you ask me. Now, the second thing that really sets RaidShadowLegends apart are the actual units themselves, the characters that you play and fight with. There are, 50 to 60 heroes on Hero Wars, and they're not all the same as the ones that are on the mobile version of the game. Mostly, like 90% of them are the same. And there's over 800 champions on RaidShadowLegends. All kinds of different factions. Each faction has got 50 to 80 champions each. You've got the Sacred Order, which aesthetically is like my favorite. I've always been a big fan of clerics and paladins and all of that. You've got more fantastical like demon spawn and skinwalkers. Lots of IP crossovers like Sun Wukong is part of this game. In the Sacred Order, you actually have Alice from, Alice in Wonderland. You also have He-Man, Master of the Universe, right? There's Ronda Rousey, the ex-UFC fighter. Sure, there are some IP crossovers on Hero Wars like the Ninja Turtles and Lara Croft from Tomb Raider. But one thing about the heroes on Hero Wars that it's not very clear, and you can see that the various color ranks of the heroes on Hero Wars, that's representing the various amounts of resources that I've put into that hero. So for example, Leon here is red, but let's say Jet is blue. That's because I've invested more resources into Leon. Eventually, Jet will become blue. And one of the most common questions in any game like this, in every game like this, really, is who's good and who's not, right? And there's really no clear tier list delineation or anything like that. It's really kind of who's popular, you know, what heroes are good together, all of that. Whereas in RaidShadowLegends, you have mythical you have legendary, you have epic, you have rare, excuse me, uncommon, and common. And yes, there are some really, really broken common champions, uncommon, rare. In fact, a majority of my main stable of champions are epic champions. And by the way, if you are thinking about starting a new account with Raid Shadow Legends, if you use my URL in the description and in the pinned comment, you get 4 absolutely broken epic champions. As you level up your account, you get 2 of them on basically day 1, and then the rest as you kind of level up. Over 800 total champions available, with a clear demarcation line between power levels. Epic champions are just outright less powerful than legendary champions. There are some legendary champions that are going to do similar things to epic champions. There are some epic champions that you'd rather have instead of some mythical champions. But for the most part, a mythical champion is better than a legendary, is better than an epic, so on and so forth. That confusion is very easy to understand. I should say lack of confusion is very easy to understand. Whereas over on Hero Wars, the heroes themselves, short of understanding the entire ecosystem on the server that you're playing on, the meta, as it were, and you have meta and all of that on Raid Shadow Legends as well, short of having all of that, you don't have any clue as a new player like what hero is good, what hero you should invest your time and effort and resources into. You just don't know. You just don't know unless you spend some time on some forums and Discord, watching YouTube videos like mine, all of that. But even then, I make the claim a lot that every hero on Hero Wars can be an S tier in a tier system hero, depending on who you're going up against, what other heroes that you have leveled up, the combos that you can make with, Lars and Krista, for example, is a good combo, but Krista by herself is absolute garbage, right? So there's a lot of nuances to this, and sure, there's nuances to Raid Shadow Legends as well, but the clear line between the power levels is obvious, is the basic point that I'm trying to get into. Now, how you rank up heroes in Hero Wars is very similar-ish to how you rank up champions in Raid Shadow Legends. You go in and you collect items from the campaign. That sounds very familiar. You have a campaign on Raid Shadow Legends. Back out here. You have a campaign on Raid Shadow Legends where you can collect items. Okay. Let's see, and each chapter and each stage has a specific item dedicated to it, right? This particular stage in the sewers of Arnok chapter, you get the critical hit rate offense gauntlets, right? There's a chance to get a various different kinds of stats on the artifacts, and that's kind of dipping into what I'm talking about with this item thing. Where on Hero Wars, once you fill up the 6 slots, you promote the champion or the hero from gray tier all the way up to red. We call it red 3, right? And those items are stuck. Those items are on there, and whenever you go from orange 4 to red, the 6 items, right, or artifacts on Raid Shadow Legends that you have on Leon, they disappear. They're gone forever. You can never use them again. And as Leon ranks up, you have to collect 6 more, and then 6 more, and 6 more. And this is just part of the leveling process. This is just part of leveling up units in Hero Wars. On Raid Shadow Legends, the artifact system, it's just kind of how you customize the champion. The champions themselves and how you level them up, there's a lot to it. You can level up their actual level from level 1 all the way up to level 60. You have the rank, which is the star level, right? Up to a 6 star and then some, right? You have skills that can be leveled up, which we'll talk about in a second. And then you have the ascension, which is these little purple stars as well. So different ways that you can level up the champion, but specifically the items that you farm, not only are these randomly itemized, which adds a whole nother level of customization to a champion. You can specifically put high speed and high accuracy or high critical hit rate items on your attacking champions. You can put defensive and health items on your tank or defense champions, or if you have like control or support champions, you can put specific kind of counterattack or revive or whatever on there. And if you decide that this right here is better served elsewhere, or maybe you get a better piece. You can remove it for a small fee, right? There is the currency. This isn't the pay-to-win currency. This is just the regular currency. You can remove it and then add in the replacement item. Let's say if this item is better, you can just add that on there, and you can upgrade the items themselves. If you find a piece that's really, really strong, you can then upgrade that item itself. And then if you decide that the Supreme Gallic is no longer the champion that you want to work on, maybe you're done with this guy, you can just go through, remove all of the items, right? It's going to cost you a little bit of currency to remove them all, and then pick the champion that you do plan on using now and add those items to that new champion. Over on Hero Wars, if you're trying to be done with Lian, if you want to level up, I don't know, Nebula instead, not only are they not the same items or customizable with random drop, you know, the different stats that could be dropping on the different items. Like this item is always health and dodge. This item is always intelligence, agility, and strength. But you can't reuse Lian's items on Nebula. You can't do that. So any investment that you put into Lian, as far as the items that you farm for, wasted if you're done using Lian. Now the idea is you just level up more and more heroes in Hero Wars, and you have more and more options for fighting, offense, defense, all of that. But that's just kind of a rub for me. Part of gacha games is they're always releasing new units. They're always releasing new champions. Every month, I think there's 4 new champions on RaidShadowLegends in the month of April 2025. And there's 3 to 4 new heroes in Hero Wars every year. So it's a little slower rollout of heroes, 800 plus champions on RaidShadowLegends versus like 50 to 60 heroes on Hero Wars. But the addition of new champions, just like in Hero Wars, completely invalidates some old champions. Like whenever Sebastian was added to the game, completely changed everything. There are heroes that are added to Hero Wars that makes current best teams completely worthless if you're using that specific new hero against them. And that's the nature of gacha games. Well, that's not such a big deal on Raid Shadow Legends because you can move some of the investment, the items, the artifacts, you can move some of those to the new champion that you're using instead, or a different champion to counter that new champion, if that makes sense, right? Another thing, while we're talking about units, big problem that I have with Hero Wars is this isn't the only thing that you're leveling up. Not only are you leveling up your heroes, but you're also leveling up pets, okay? This is just another unit that you have to level up. You have to collect their souls for, you have to unlock their abilities, you have to spend a ton of resources farming items, leveling them up, and you need all of them to augment your primary heroes. You could call these, I guess, kind of like an extension of the main thing, but in Raid Shadow Legends, at most you can use 4 or 5 champions at a time. In Hero Wars, you can use 5 champions or 5 heroes at a time. Each of those 5 heroes has to have a pet, plus a team level pet. So not only are you leveling up your heroes, but you're leveling up your pets, and then you're also leveling up Titans. Now these are 3 separate sets of units that you have to level up, keep track of, all kinds of resources, leveling up their level, their evolution, their skins, their artifacts, their totems that augment the Titans. There's just more random offset of units to level up than on Raid Shadow Legends. And some people prefer that. I personally do not. I think the Titan side of things and the pet side of things is a little boring. The pets, you could consider more of a hero customization leveling thing that can move around, but the Titans, that is there's different PvP for the Titans. There's different PvE adventures for the Titans. There's nothing like that on Raid Shadow Legends. Every now and then there's a mini game, just like there is on any other gacha game, but there's nothing like that in Raid Shadow. It's just not the case. Now, the last thing that I want to talk about, and this is the one that a lot of new players can really, dig into, is the lack of incentive to start playing, really. And sure, there's a lot of fun advertisements that you're going to see for both versions, for all gacha games, really. But Hero Wars has got a pretty egregious ad structure. A lot of pretty raunchy ads. But whenever you start playing, you're basically given a couple of heroes, and they're the same heroes that everybody gets. You get like Aurora and let's see, there's Astaroth in here. Yeah, Astaroth you get. There are a few heroes that you just kind of get as you go through the motions of the introduction. Basically the how-to portion, the first 3-ish levels of Hero Wars. The problem is they're all kind of mid. They're all kind of weak-ish. Astaroth and Aurora are 2 of probably the best tanks in the game, but by the way, every tank in the game is pretty good and arguably better than Aurora and Astaroth. You don't get any of those other things for free. You gotta play your way through it. You gotta buy them from the shop. You gotta, hope to earn them at random out of the Soul Atrium, which is kind of like the shard system here in Raid Shadow Legends. If you start a new Raid Shadow Legends game, especially if you use somebody's URL like mine, the one that's linked in the description, pinned comment, all of that, you get a legendary that will carry you for a long time through most of the basic stuff. And there isn't just one option. There's actually 4 options. You have the Supreme Gallic, which I chose this guy because aesthetically I like him the best. There's some strategy that you can employ with the orc-specific tribe that I chose with the other starter hero. This is regular Gallic, and then this is Supreme Gallic. The other starter legendaries that you can get access to, I've already shown them a couple of times. So another option is Alice, legendary attack champion. She looks great, but in my opinion, for my strategies on my account, I like the orc a little bit better. You also have Sun Wukong, who I mentioned a little bit earlier, and the Skinwalker. Sun Wukong is he's a character from another game. I can't remember what the name of the game is. Black Sand or something like that. Yeah. And then finally you have Loki as an option. Yes, that Loki the Deceiver. So all 4 legendary champions are really, really, really strong and will carry you through the campaign, a lot of the arena. Of course, other players are getting also these new player champions. If you're starting with the new player URL link like mine, but there's a little bit more customization. You can pick which ones you want. On Hero Wars, there's nothing like that. You don't get any free overpowered champions from day one, which you can choose to level up or not, right? That's kind of my feeling on it. Now, I will continue to play both. Obviously, I have this channel, New Raiders Only, but I also have a whole channel dedicated to Hero Wars. It's kind of the primary channel that I've been on for the last little bit. But I'm not going to lie, Raid Shadow Legends has got a lot more. Seems like it's got a lot more to offer. Yeah, so let me know in the comment section down below. Have you ever played Hero Wars? Are you considering playing Raid Shadow Legends? I would love for you to join me in Raid Shadow Legends, right? Consider subscribing if that sounds like something you'd be interested in. Turn on notifications. Like this video if you found it interesting. I love you all. Good luck in Teleria.